Alright, welcome YouTubers. This is a recap of the 2019 Great Dane picks for the year. I'll start off with the NBA because that plays out January through April. And I had two different schemes. These were all paid picks. You needed to either log into the website or with a code, or you had the Excel thing to guide you along. The green picks are my first game picks. I normally don't play those, but if you follow my cursor, they did very well. They peaked out at 57% here at the All-Star break, and then they eventually hit 81 before they came back to earth, and eventually ended up just a little bit negative in terms of the 52.38% that you need. So hopefully you should have got out earlier in the year when recognize some profit. You always have to get out when you feel you can. Those are twice the number of games of my, the prime picks, right? The first game picks were in green here, and they did well. So the prime picks did not do particularly well. They held ground, and this year I marked the sessions down here, but I didn't have sessions. I just did the whole year, picks-wise. I just followed along, and then I just had this huge slide right here, just before the All-Star break. It came back a little bit, so I was halfway down, and then it came back, and then I had another slide, and eventually I used up the dotted line here would be using up my entire bankroll, 100% of it, or $20,000, right? So I had to dig into the pocket all the way to $31,000, and it recovered, and eventually I got out here once I broke some kind of profit, right? It was 22% profit against the 20,000, but if you consider that against a 30,000, it was more like a 15% profit. Oops, sorry about that. It eventually peaked up here even higher, almost the 26,000 level, and then came back down. So is what it is, but I got out at about 22%, we'll call it, or 15% would be the other way to call it. So it was kind of a hair-raising extra money to put out there year. So not the greatest of seasons. At least it didn't take off like the first game, and like it normally does. But profitable at the end of the day. In fact, it ended above profit. If you did every single game, it was 52.5. Not much of a profit, but there were opportunities to go higher, like I said. The MLB did fantastic this year. Again, here's my 20,000 level, this sort of gold line. The light blue was just every single pick head-to-head, something that you wouldn't play. The dark blue is a scheme where I went in stages, and I stopped. I made a lot of money in the first stage and even skipped the second stage, which are these red, these red are these 10% jumps stages. Again, these were just a free picks given out by Excel only. And then I played one day and did really, really well, and then I played a couple days and did really, really well, and I ended up at 72%, or 34,400 end bankroll, starting at 20,000, so 72% gain. The purple line is I took out every single pick I made and not head-to-head, so just ignore the head-to-heads, and that did really well. So no matter where you jumped in there or played, you would have actually got up to over 100, almost 150%. Couple times, and it ended up at 42,000 and change or something. So good picks. Those are not ATS picks, those are money line picks, so you do have the opportunity to play both sides or whatever, but the smartest is just not to play when people go head to head. And so that did really well, so I'm going to call it 72% on my side, but if you played along, you could have got a lot more money than that. And the last one is the NFL, where I struggled through most of the year. We were up. These are the three different schemes I have. I play the orange diamond, but there's a black martingale and a blue fixed. We were all up a little bit in week 5. We went down. These are kind of normal. Then it came back. Then it went down, and then it came back. And I got out here in week 15 because I just want to play 16 and 17. Sometimes 16 and 17 nosedive like they did this year. Other times they spike up. Other times they just lose a little bit of money or go flat. Anyways, I was out at 21.8%, never really used much of the bankroll, less than half with the orange hollow dots here. So, it was profitable. Again, this is another segment where, I did win a little bit more money because Cleveland in week 10 for sure was one of the picks where I got better odds, or better spread actually, in the real world, even with the payout, and covers pushed that one, so it's another half a game or another $909 on top of the 43.61, or just below 25%. So it would have pushed me above 25%. Anyways, let me sum up the year. So again, NBA was plus 43.56, where I got out on 15%. Basically, I needed a 31,000 bankroll. That was the low light of the year per se. And MLB did great. I got out at 72%. You could have got out at 145 if you wanted to. NFL 21%, really 15%, plus 43.61. But I did a little better than that, another $909 minus some VIGs in there, right about 5,000 level. And so plus 23 or 115%. So good year overall. Look forward to 2020. All right. See ya.